Before I ask my question, I'd just like to say something about flooding in the area that some gentleman over there mentioned. I'm fairly new into the area and I live on the northwest side of Daedalus, and I was surprised when I came here to find from my environmental survey that I was at high risk of flooding. And this is from the Geological Survey, and I have a copy of it, which says that is due to the high water table, and that sort of bears out what the gentleman was saying over there. But my main concern basically is similar to the concern that you might have, the radio frequency interference concern. It's a noise that you're not going to hear, an audio noise, but what's going to interfere with your TV and your radio, etc. It's the noise that's generated like by the inverters that you might have from your solar panels on your roof or from the solar farm, which are kilowatts or megawatts. But the inverter that you're going to have here at Daedalus is 1 gigawatt. And if you do any research at all on the internet, you will find it will generate significant amounts of radio frequency interference, fairly broad spectrum interference. Now, I'm surprised that the planning officer, Mr. Wyatt, said earlier that there would be some acceptable degradation to aeronautical. I think it was aeronautical, possibly maritime as well, I'm not sure, communications. I would be surprised if any degradation in communication with aircraft was acceptable to pass misinformation or to interrupt communications. I would suspect that that is really one for the Civil Aviation Authority or for Ofcom itself. However, looking at, and I raised a question with the project engineer of National Grid, and I note from the, I think it was the information they published on the 26th of March, that they published a table which gave voltage values for radio interference. And I think that's from the survey that forms a large part of the planning application. I haven't had time to read the full thing, but it looks like, well, your radio receivers and those in aircraft and marine boats, etc., they respond and process signals that are microvolts, that's 10 to the minus 6 volts. From the information that's provided in this table by National Grid, the voltages generated as a result of the operation of the inverter will be millivolts, or 10 to the minus 3. So 1,000 times stronger than what your receiver is designed to process. So it can generate significant interference depending on how close you are to the inverter. But I believe it's 200 meters the figures are based on, but I would suspect that will radiate far further than 200 meters. And that's all I have to say on radio frequency interference. I won't bother with EMF this time, but perhaps the next time.
Okay, well, thank you, sir, for your comments. Please excuse me if I can't comment from any degree of knowledge on them, but certainly there will be reports that will have been submitted as part of the application. The Fair and Borough Council is also quite prepared to commission whatever it may need to commission to make sure that we get answers before any decision is actually made on the planning application. And of course, even if, and I gave the even if the planning application is turned down, even if the planning application is permitted, it will still, even then, be a matter for the council as landlord, remember what I said about effects on aviation, to make a final decision on whether we as landlord decide to let this happen. But at the moment, it's a matter for the planning application.